You know, when I stop and think about it, most of us weren't introduced to superheroes by comics, were we? I mean, people my age weren't even introduced by the early Batman or Superman movies. No, I think most people in their 20s or younger were introduced to superheroes through cartoons, like Batman the Animated Series, probably one of the best cartoons ever. And then you had Superman, Justice League Unlimited, you know, all that stuff, and they were pretty awesome. So I think it's only appropriate that I talk about superhero cartoons as well as comics. So to start us off and blatantly up my view count on YouTube, let's talk about the Avengers. Okay, for those of you still unaware, a few years ago Marvel Comics was bought up by the Disney Corporation. Why? Who knows, but it's not as catastrophic as you're probably thinking. Really, the only two changes I've noticed has been that Toon Disney's been showing old superhero cartoons like the old Iron Man and the old Hulk, and they came out with a whole new series, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, undoubtedly to cash in on the anticipation for the Avengers movie. Now, I'd be lying if I said I didn't come into this without some reservations. After all, I've seen the Superhero Squad show. I figured that I was in for a watered-down, kiddified, pun-filled groan-fest. Was I right? Well, let's take a look. I'm going to start out talking about the first story arc since it introduces us to the characters and the settings, and after that talk about the series as a whole.
Good thing I didn't bring an army then.
Episode 1 starts with Iron Man coming to stop a weapons trade between AIM and Latveria, because, as he says,
a lot of neat stuff. Unfortunately, some of it has my name on it.
This Iron Man is essentially the one we've all come to know through the Downey Jr. movies. He's callous, he's rude, but he has a good heart. Well, not physically, but you know what I mean. Having done this, he now has to take the weapons to a SHIELD penitentiary called the Vault for safekeeping. That's when we cut to the opening. I'm not gonna lie, this song did not sit well with me at first, but I think I've acquired a taste for it. The animation sequence is also pretty good, and successfully encapsulates the characters for us. After the opening, the series goes through each of the future Avengers to see what they're up to. Bruce Banner is in some kind of gamma monster prison called the Cube. Why is it cube-shaped and tipped over onto a single structurally perilous corner? Who knows. Hawkeye is actually incarcerated in the Vault as S.H.I.E.L.D. thinks that he's a traitor working for Hydra. Meanwhile, Ant-Man is working in another prison called the Big House, which is actually shrunk down and inside the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. Elsewhere in the ship we're introduced to Wasp, Agent Maria Hill, and Black Widow's rear. Criminy! Disney let you guys do that? I mean, seriously, that's not even subtle, that's just in your face. Wow! Anyway, a power outage causes the prison facilities to shut down, because apparently future prisons don't bother with mechanical locks anymore. The prisoners escape and quickly overwhelm both the guards and our heroes. All of our heroes manage to escape, but Iron Man's armor is badly damaged, and word of the disaster manages to reach Nick Fury.
Fury, a report just came in from the vault.
Do I look like I have time for this, Quartermain?
Listen to me! Sir, automated reports are coming in from the vault and the cube. Their systems have gone offline, and no one is responding from down in the Big House. Something is seriously wrong.
Fury, however, is more concerned about the final prison, the Raft, containing the most dangerous supervillains and also happens to be underwater right next to New York City. Which really begs the question, why would they put such dangerous individuals right next to New York City? I mean, the cube's in the desert, so they're competent sometimes, but then they put the most infamous villains they've ever captured right next to one of the most highly populated cities in the world? That just doesn't make sense. Of course, the Raft fails too, and a nigh all-powerful villain named Graviton escapes. Fury tries to lead a squad to contain him, but come on, when has the military ever been effective in superhero media? Next we get Graviton's backstory. He's a scientist gone too far archetype, hired by Nick Fury to recreate the super soldier serum.
We want you on our team. When do I start?
Which somehow resulted in this giant ball of energy. No idea how he got there.
On the block, Doctor!
Yeah, when in the history of comics has that ever worked? Anyway, the experiment goes wrong, and of course he now has superpowers beyond reckoning. The ability to control gravity. which in this instance translates roughly into the power to do whatever the plot demands. Instead of waiting to find out that Graviton is a nutcase, Nick Fury immediately puts him out. Probably the brightest thing anyone S.H.I.E.L.D. has done in years. That's why he gets the top office. 6 years later, on the day of the power surge, Graviton wakes back up. Despite now having a rocking beard, he decides that a good old-fashioned rampage is in order, starting with the death of Nick Fury. The mighty Thor, however, has something to say about this. And engages Graviton in one-on-one combat. Wasp and Ant-Man also arrive just in time to catch a falling Nick Fury. It quickly becomes clear that Graviton is too powerful and Thor is brought down. Wasp tries to take him on next, which goes about as well as you'd think. Banner, having become the Hulk, meanwhile, has made his way to an out-of-the-way diner, where he talks to Bruce Banner in a Jekyll and Hyde style from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Banner tries to convince the Hulk to go help the other heroes, and we cut off with this deal.
If I do this, then you do something for me.
What?
I stay the Hulk, not Banner.